Hey, it's Jamie. It's day 7 of the Path to Purpose series, and today we're talking about setting boundaries. So, I will see who joins me today. Hello. Thank you for joining. And so, talking about setting boundaries in relation to pursuing your purpose. And that being an essential part of doing so. So, if you are just catching me for the first time today, like I said, it's day 7. So, day 1 through 6 of the Path to Purpose series can be caught up on YouTube or IGTV. So, all of that is there. We've talked about embracing your story, establishing your core values, identifying your gifts, pursuing your purpose, shifting your mindset, as well as courageous confidence. And now today we are on setting boundaries. And so this is for you if you find yourself overcommitting, often saying no when you should maybe say yes, or more likely saying yes when you should probably say no, because it's something that, hello, thank you for joining. Because it's something that you're going to either take you away from something more, that's priority, or make you feel some kind of way, or it's just flat out an overcommitment, right? And then we put ourselves in situations we don't want to find ourselves in because we have said yes once again. Hey, Coach Tarby. And so that's what we're going to get into. Another situation you may find yourself in needing to set boundaries, and this is, I'm going to speak to in relation to pursuing your purpose, but this is relational, this is professional, personal boundaries, just across the gambit. So, high level boundaries, limits, healthy limits that we give ourselves to focus on what's most important to us. I have some notes here, so let me make sure that I don't forget anything. Where do I want to start? Because this could be like a week-long segment in itself, boundaries, okay? That's how important it is. But yeah, let me see. We have time. Let's start with time. And, Maxine, Auntie Maxine, reclaiming your time. Let's talk about boundaries around time, because time is something that a lot of people and clients will share. They know they're made for more. They know they have something that they want to do. They may even know what their purpose is, which hopefully, if you've been have joined me in the series, right, we've gotten to that point with identifying your gifts and everything, what it is that you want to do. However, right, I don't have the time. So, in addition to your core values, they're going to tie into, like I said, aligning with your purpose and setting boundaries. It's going to help you to know what's most important to you. And in that same vein, hey, Altrasa, thank you for joining, friend. In that same vein, we need to reclaim our time, right? Sorry about that. You need to reclaim your time. And so setting a boundary, a time boundary, may be time blocking, right? I know that I want to pursue my purpose. That may be studying, that may be just self-reflecting and self-awareness to get you in a specific mindset. We talked about shifting your mindset. So a time boundary may be, okay, I want to do this journaling for myself, right? Personal boundary, or I want to read this book, or I want to take this class. That may look like time blocking, that this is the time that you're going to dedicate, that you're going to prioritize. These are words: dedicate, prioritize, that you should keep in the forefront of your mind for this specific thing. So that time boundary is going to mean, no, I can't take your call at this time, right? I've time blocked this time specifically for this purpose, and I'm being intentional about keeping that commitment to myself. So that may look like, before I get into anything else and anyone else gets my time, maybe it's first thing in the morning, right? So I don't do anything else until I give this time. In my case, right, first thing, pick up my phone before I get on Instagram, where I spend a lot of my time. Before I check work email or anything like that, I open the Word. That's my commitment, and that's my promise. That's my time. So, okay, God, before I give anybody else time, I'm going to make sure that I read the Word. That's a time block. That's something that's important to me. And so that's a boundary, right? Nobody else gets talked to or seen until I do that first. So that can go across. It could be a yoga part of self-care and a yoga practice that you want to time block and prioritize. So typically with boundaries, we find ourselves on the short end of the stick, if you will. Hey, Nayaba, or Life Coach Nay. We find ourselves giving ourselves the short end of the stick, like work. I hear a lot, right? How dedicated we are to our 9 to 5s, and we'll stay late without question. We'll go above and beyond. We'll work through lunch without question. We will put in the staying late, the working through lunch. We'll just, give our all. We won't say no, even though it's something maybe not even in our role, right? Oh, my boss asked me to do this. We don't say no. We do it. We take it on. We stress ourselves out. For this place, I'm going to say it. And I have one. I have a job. I call it my sponsor because right now it's a means into resources and providing. So I'm very grateful for it. But at the same time, I know when my contract is up or when it's time to cut, they won't think twice. If my number's up, if it doesn't fit where they need to be green, like they won't think about my family. They won't think about my purpose. They're not going to think about any of that. It's just, okay, I've been laid off before. Like, it's your turn. This place that I prioritize and right, I'm so dedicated to. So my core values tells me, okay, and I'm going to ask you with setting boundaries, how much more dedicated should I be or could I be to my self-development, to my personal growth, to my purpose and pursuing what I know I was created to do? And so that's where, and again, all of these days kind of link together into this one big picture, right? This path to purpose. So you're going to hear me repeat core values or mindset, but that's where that shift in mindset has to go to support your boundaries. Boundaries are, and I'm gonna speak to the quote today, no being a complete sentence. Saying no may mean that, right? Okay, 9 to 5, you are a means to providing. I will give my all and work as unto the Lord, right? As if I'm not working for man. But when that time comes for me to go, I'm out, right? That's a mindset shift. That's a priority. Like I will dedicate and do my best while I'm here. But when you get no more, that's a boundary. Like you get no more outside of what you're paying me to do or what outside of what I'm responsible for, because my purpose, and again, I'm tying this to pursuing your purpose, but we can kind of use these relational and professional and all throughout. But my purpose is more important to me. Not that your job isn't important, but my purpose is more important, right? That I'm doing what I was created to do. So that's a fine line. That's a boundary. 5 o'clock, I move. I move to dedicating that time towards whether it's family, purpose, something else, yourself, right? That yoga class that you have to get to. I've heard people, we're so quick to give up on our purpose or ourselves or our family, right? Can't make it to the kids' game because this, or I can't really schedule a yoga class. I don't have time for that. But you have time for that friend that always calls, right? Let's prioritize ourselves, tying that to your core values and those things that are most important. The worksheet that that's gonna be in the link in the bio to download today, just has some prompting questions to help you. Like, what do I need to prioritize now, right? Where will I say no more? Or I forget the specific questions that I typed up. But it's going to help you kind of just reassess where you are with setting boundaries. And I talked about saying no. I talked about time. There was something else. Your energy, setting boundaries with your energy and your peace. You've heard me talk about this before too, but so worth repeating. That's a boundary. When I say protect your peace or protect your energy, that's a line. That's a boundary that you have to set. So that may mean your consumption, right? What you're consuming. And that's one of the questions on the worksheet. What do you give permission to, right? Give yourself permission to decide your vibe, what energy you're going to allow in your space and what energy you're not. You can decide that without the guilt, right? Give yourself that permission to say, you know what? I'm going to block, or I'm going to unfollow this person because their feed, like what they post, doesn't serve me well. And that's fine that they're your friend, right? Or that they followed you. Mute them if you don't want to do the unfollow. But you give yourself permission to say, I don't want that energy in my space. And be okay with that because you can decide your vibe and you should. So prioritize that you're protecting your peace, right? If at any point in time you have someone in your circle, and I'm going to be talking about cultivating your circle tomorrow, so we'll get a little deeper into that. But at any point in time you have someone, and you know that that's draining you, that the friendship or relationship just doesn't serve you. If when you see their name, you're like, oh, gosh, this person, right? This person. Why do that to yourself? Give yourself permission to say, this relationship no longer serves me well, right? Get in touch with your emotions. What do you feel in a particular environment? What do you feel in a particular space? What do you feel when you scroll down a certain person's feed? And if it makes you feel some kind of way, like get in touch with that and then ask yourself questions. Okay, is this something that I want to keep subjecting myself to? Right? Is this a conversation with a particular person I want to keep having to have? Whether maybe it's explaining yourself, right? So a boundary is giving yourself permission to say, this is my space. This is the energy and peace that I want to have in it. And so if it doesn't, if it crosses that boundary, if it crosses that line, then I'm going to let it go. I'm going to give myself permission to let go of those things that don't serve me. Nayaba says, this is so real. Yes. Release yourself from that person. It's hard, but it's a must needed conversation. Absolutely. It takes that courageous confidence that we talked about yesterday to have that courageous conversation. And yes, it absolutely may be hard. What that may look like is saying one of the tips I would recommend, and something that I share with my clients with having those courageous conversations. That may start with, I would say, setting the intent for the conversation so that the person doesn't get on the defense. So it may look like, I'm going to use Coach Nay, since we're going to role play since she made the comment. It may look like, and she's definitely feeds my spirit well. But if I needed to have a conversation with her because she didn't, maybe our conversations or the vibe didn't serve me well, I would say, hey, Coach Nay, in an effort not to put it on her, to own that it's my boundary. Hey, Coach Nay, in an effort to, I've been doing some self-reflection, right? In an effort for me to not feel overwhelmed, or in an effort to maintain my peace and not be so frustrated with whatever, right? I feel like I need to distance this relationship, or I feel like because it's on you, that person can be fine, right? But it's how it's making you feel. I feel like it's not serving me well. I feel like I need to distance myself from the relationship, or I feel like I need space, or I feel like maybe you can wait for me to call you first, or they're going to feel some kind of way. Maybe, yes, but just own it for what it is. We're big girls, right? Own it for what it is. And at the end of the day, you get what you need, if it's that distance that you need. But start with the intent, or the reason that I'm having this conversation, right, is because I want to be able to move further into my purpose, right? I've been working on my life coaching business, and in order for me to pursue that more fully, I need to do this. However it best serves you. Just communicate that, own it, I would say, right? Don't start with, every time I talk to you, you make me feel. That's not what we want to do. They can't make you feel any way, right? We have to own our feelings. So it can be that whatever they bring out in you, or however their actions are, which they have to own for themselves, makes us feel some kind of way, right? That's based on our beliefs, our core values, what's important to us, what affects us, right? So just own that. I would say set out with the intent that you mean for this to be to better you, right? So in order for this to, whatever that's going to mean to you, I own that, right? I feel like blah, 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 whatever that feeling is. And so this is what you're doing for you. So nobody can argue that, right? This is for me. So whether they intend well or not with their actions, I'm doing this for me. And I think in the long run, even if it's not short term, I feel like people respect that. That, you know what? Do what you have to do for you. So give yourself permission to do that, to assess whether it's, like I said, a person, it can be an environment. Hey, Lisa. It can be an environment, it can be a person, absolutely, right? It can be material, like I said, social media that you're consuming, right? You don't have to friend everybody. You don't have to, sometimes we feel like that obligated. You can certainly block, mute, unfollow that. Give yourself permission to do that, to save your energy, to preserve your peace, right? And to pursue your purpose. There's just simply, sometimes it's not that it's even a negative thing, it's just not for you. Like me, I don't do a lot of TV. There's a couple of shows when they're in season that my husband and I will watch together, so I kind of count that as our quality time. But I'm not a TV, I could go all day every day without the TV. I don't do the whole Netflix thing. But for some people, that's how they spend their time. That's cool. For me, it's taking away from, I feel like I can be using that time to pursue my purpose, right? I can be putting that time into content for me. So because of that, the person that's like, hey, watch whatever, catch up, binge watch this or that. No harm. No, I know you mean, okay, yeah, that's nice, but I don't have time for that, right? So that would not serve me well with my core values and where I'm trying to go. So that's just an example of something that for somebody is fine, but I have certain boundaries, personal boundaries, right, on how I use my time, because time is precious. I thank you for sharing your time with me and showing up here. I do pray that it is beneficial, and that you always gain something, because I don't take it for granted, people's time, and that you share this space with me when you take yours to tune in. So I appreciate you. This is probably my longest one. I don't know. I just kind of kept talking, but if you made it through the replay, hashtag replay, and if you hung out with me this whole time, thank you so much for joining me in this space. I've been trying to just give little tidbits of where I am on the path to purpose and the essentials that I feel like everybody kind of should touch upon. So if you, again, haven't caught day 1 through 6, this is now day 7, catch up. And I go deeper into these in the workshop and the boot camp that you can stay tuned for. But hopefully you get some little nuggets and gems to work on. You can download the link in the bio for today. It's a 24-hour link as it relates to, thank you, as it relates to setting boundaries. And of course, you can always, I'm a DM away, book a discovery call. It's a 30-minute free call where I can just kind of talk you through what may be pressing for you at the time, and then see how I can better support you. So thank you, ladies, for sharing this space. Thank you so much. And till tomorrow, day 8, I will be talking about cultivating your circle. So if you are available tomorrow evening, join back then. Peace and happy.